Hello guys, you're back with me, Adam. You might recognise me from the PE cupboard or Stockwell tube station. Today we're going to have another healthy meal. What are we going to have? You guessed it, a frittata, which is basically a posh way of saying an omelette, different way of cooking it. So these are the ingredients that we're going to use. So I'm going to go through the ingredients, then I'm going to show you how to cook it, show you what it looks like. It's party time in the kitchen, that's why I'm wearing my hat. Okay, so eggs, main ingredient, good for muscle building, got protein in it. Peppers have got vitamin C, good for your immune system. What does your immune system do? Protects you from viruses and colds, things like that, so you stay healthy. Onions I'm going to use, good for calcium, which is bones, good for bone growth. And iron, which is good for, just helps your blood move around your body, and also growth, general growth in your body. I'm also going to use a little bit of milk, protein and calcium again. Cheese, good thing to put on top for taste. Again, calcium and protein in cheese. Then seasoning with a bit of salt and pepper, and then some garlic, which is good for your heart, good for flavour, and it's good for your tikka. Extra things you can put in that I'm not going to use today: mushrooms if you like them, and asparagus, which is good for vision and your immune system. So, shall we get cracking? Board goes down. Let me show you what I've got. So I've prepared my ingredients on here. I've got my peppers, my garlic, and my onions. Little tip for people that are cutting at home: adults, be careful. Children, be even more careful. So fingers, we don't lay them flat. So if I'm cutting anything, I slip. Adam loses a finger. Nobody wants that. So I've cut most of my onions up already, but I'll give you a little demo. So your fingertips go down. So then if I slip, I go down onto the board and not onto my fingers. So fingernails are facing down, and I chop like this. So they're my ingredients that I prepared earlier. The main ingredient is eggs. If you don't like eggs, you can't eat this, unfortunately. Apologies. So eggs, I'm going to use, I've already got one egg in here. I'm going to use 4 eggs. I'm cooking for 2 people, for myself and my lovely lady Ellie. So the eggs, you've seen how I've done it there, quickly. So I use a fork, a little tap, not too much. You don't want to overcook it and then the eggs go everywhere. Mum and Dad will not be happy with that. Little crack, and then you pull the egg apart gently, and the egg falls out. That's. I had 1 egg in there already, and now I've put in 2. How many eggs have I used? 3. Onto the 4th egg. Give it a little cracky. In we go. Now, time for the whisking. How do you spell whisk? W-H-I-S-K. Whisk. Funny word. Now, when you whisk, you rotate your fork, but you lift a little bit as well. Have a little splashy sound. You lift it up, and that is how it whisks, and it all mixes together. Bang, 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 bang. Now, in there, I'm going to also add in some milk. So milk makes it, we'll make it a little bit bigger, make it go a little bit further, feed more people. Milk goes back in the fridge. Here we go, a bit more of a whisk. Whiskey, 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 whiskey. This is John. Say hi to John. Hello. So, give that another little bit of a whisk. And then all my ingredients are ready now. So I've got my eggs, I've got my onions, my peppers and my garlic ready. Got a bit of spinach. I grated some cheese earlier as well. Bit of cheese. What's in cheese? Protein and calcium. What's it good for? Calcium is good for your bones. Protein is good for muscle growth. So, I'm going to use some oil on the pan. Extra virgin olive oil. It's a bit healthier. I'm going to turn on the old hob. On it goes. This is my favourite hob, the back left. Now you want to know about a medium heat. Too hot and it'll burn it underneath. Not hot enough, it'll just take ages to cook. So about a medium heat, so the oil is there. Now I'm lucky enough to have one of these. This is a garlic crusher, so you put your garlic in there, you crush it. If you don't have a garlic crusher, you can just chop it up into little bits. Here we go, now we're rocking and rolling. Just make the oil move around the pan a bit so it spreads out. In goes the garlic. Good for your heart. Carefully going to slide that off with my knife, going away from my body so I don't stab myself. In goes the garlic. Wooden spoon for mixing. Spatula, I'll show you what we can do with that later. There we go. Spread the garlic out a little bit. Lovely smell, that garlic. Can you smell it at home? Here we are. Now I'm also going to pop in there the onions and the peppers slowly so I don't make a mess. It doesn't go outside the pan. Whoop, dropped an onion. Whoops-a-daisies. Going to mix that round a little bit. Now, meanwhile this is cooking, you're going to put your grill on. So, reason being, what you're going to do, you're going to cook the frittata from underneath on the hob, then you're going to put it in the grill and cook the top bit. Cooking in the kitchen, we're having fun, it's party time in the kitchen. Here we go, mix that round a little bit. You want the onions to go a bit golden coloured, so they've cooked a little bit. Spinach, good for iron. Now, when you cook spinach it wilts. Wilt means it just goes a little bit smaller, so it starts as a leaf. Here's one I made earlier. The leaves will go in and they'll wilt and be a bit smaller. So once they wilt a little bit, that is when the eggs go in. We're cooking, we're having fun, and we're learning at the same time. Here we go, they've browned a little bit, in goes the spinach. In it goes, and it goes. In goes the spinach, I'll show you what that looks like. There we are, so we've got spinach on top. I'm going to give it a little mix. Mixy, mixy, mix-a-ton. See how it's starting to go a little bit smaller, and you just keep mixing. Mixy, mixy, mix. Oh, sorry, the camera went off there. It's a difficult job holding the camera and mixing. There we go. So, what do you call a pile of cats? A meountain. So, the spinach is starting to wilt, which means get a bit smaller from its original leaf shape. The eggs are going to go in now, but before I do that I'm going to season with a bit of salt and pepper. In the bowl of the eggs, in goes the salt, in goes the pepper. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and in goes the eggs. The eggs should fill the whole part of the pan. It will fill the area it's in, as it's a liquid. This is where the spatula comes in handy. So, I'll show you in a minute, but what I'm doing is I'm just going around the outside of the frittata. The outside will start to come away from the pan a little bit. It'll go a little bit harder. So let that cook for a minute. So, cheese. Yes, it's good for protein and calcium. It's also got quite a lot of fat in it. So, different types of fat. Saturated, unsaturated. Unsaturated fats are good. Good for the body, good for your heart. Saturated fats, not as good. You can have a little bit of them, but you don't want to overdo it. It's all about balance. You don't want too much of one thing and not enough of the other. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the spatula now. So, here we go. So, with the spatula, I'm just pulling up the sides a little bit like this. so I can see if it's gone hard and if it's coming away from the pan. It will start to come away from the pan a little bit. Let me film that bit there. Okay, it's not quite ready yet, but it's still going. So that's what you do with the spatula, just to see if it's cooking okay. If it isn't going hard on the edges, then you haven't got your heat high enough. Turn that heat up. Turn it up high, but not too high. Okay, it's starting to come away now quite nicely. Okay, so when it gets harder on the outside and there's still a little, and it's still a little bit watery in the middle, that's when you're going to bang it in the grill. So just make sure it's hard all the way around the edges. So that bit's hard there, this bit's hard. Okay, that's been in for long enough. So now I'm going to pop my whole frying pan under the grill. So you're going to cook the egg first, a little bit, then when it's cooked on top, so it's not watery anymore, it goes hard on top as well, that's when you're going to put the cheese on. Meanwhile, spoke about fats, saturated and unsaturated. Avocado. If you like avocado, you can put this on the side. Good unsaturated fats. Okay, so you can have that. I'm going to put that in this bowl and mix it up in a minute, but I'm just going to check on my frittata. So, still a little bit watery on top. Okay, so it hasn't cooked enough yet. So I can crack on with my avocado. Here we are. Take down the middle. Nice and gently, nice and safely. Cool. And then in a minute I'm going to get that in there. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the top of my frittata so you should know what it looks like. So here we are. So you can see still a little bit watery on top, but it has cooked. So it is a bit harder. So it's got a bit more of a harder texture. Cheese goes on. Let's get the cheese over different parts. Try and spread the cheese out. Cheese. Using a tea towel in case this is a bit hot. Back under the grill. Meanwhile, there's a lot of things going on. Good for multitasking. In goes the avocado. Skadoosh. In goes the avocado. Skadoosh. My avocado has a little bit brown bits on it, which means it's a bit old, but I'm going to eat it anyway. You want your avocado to be all green really, but you know, I'm going to eat it. So that's the avo. Definitely going to clean this up later so I don't get into trouble. Now, I smell the cheese, it smells lovely. Here we go. Oh, look at that. So, this is what it should look like. Get away from the light. There we go, that nice metal cheese on top. All the egg is cooked, you've got all your goodness in there. Boy, am I looking forward to eating this. So, that is your frittata. Cook it on the hob. Wait for the outside bit to go a bit hard. Bang it under the grill. Wait for it to cook on top a little bit, bang on the cheese, and then you're ready to go. I need to mash up my avocado, put it on the table, then I'm ready. That is how you make a frittata, a nice healthy meal. Bang in a few more eggs if you're feeding more people. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed Cooking Club with me, Adam, and my friend John. Meow!